Win or lose, there is no question Donald Trump has spurred a political movement in our country like none other in modern politics.
But what exactly is Trump's movement, and where does it come from? Joining us right now to weigh in is Tucker Carlson, host of the brand new show about to start tonight. Tucker Carlson tonight here on Fox. Not tonight. Technically, you'll wait for the election to be over.
6 days.
6 days. So, Tucker, what is this? What is the difference between Donald Trump winning or losing? What do we walk away with? Regardless of whether he comes out on top.
No matter what happens, this is a revolt of the middle class against the elites. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line. The Democratic Party used to represent the middle class. Now it's a coalition of the rich and the poor. The Republican Party had an opportunity to kind of swoop in and grab that market segment. They declined. And Trump saw the opening, moved in, beat 16 better funded, more experienced candidates only on that idea. Someone needs to represent the middle of the country, which, by the way, is shrinking. It's become downwardly mobile. Its life expectancy has shortened. This is a massive change and an ominous one, and nobody in charge cares.
Sure.
And that was Trump's opening.
Regardless of who wins the presidency tonight, the Republican Party is going to be all different tomorrow, too.
It's going to be completely different. I mean, it's going to reflect the desires and the anxieties and the hopes of that group. It's going to become a middle-class party. And look, the key to Trump is this, and there are many things about Trump that, you know, we're going to, win or lose, we're going to re-examine what happened in the campaign. But the key message is the U.S. government ought to, policymakers ought to act on behalf of the country. Like, that's not a crazy idea, and yet in Washington that's greeted like heresy. What? Are you joking? You have a voice? No, shh, be quiet. Adults are talking. I mean, the contempt that people in power, and not just in the political class, but also academia, finance, Hollywood, all the power centers, they have total contempt for the average person.
Tucker, those people have been returned to power by the voters year after year after year.
They have been, and Republican primary voters have kind of gone along with it. I mean, the party in Washington has said, look, get behind this person. You may have qualms about it, but just shh, be quiet, do it. And Republican voters said, okay, the 1 year when they get to pick their own candidate, what if the party leaders in Washington say, we're out, we're out, you have no voice? I mean, in an oligarchy, that would work. In a democracy, you're going to get a revolt. You just are. You have to listen to voters,
It's easy to understand why the folks that don't have a lot of money, the lower class in this country, would support a Democrat. Middle class, I get why they would support a Trump or a Republican. But it's the ones with a lot of money.
Right.
It always surprises me that they would vote Democratic, because the Republican Party wants to lower taxes and no death tax. Donald Trump's saying no death tax. Why is that? Why is it that a lot of wealthy families in New York are for Hillary?
Because the realignment is not along ideological lines, it's along class and income lines. That's the truth. We've been covering this, a lot of people have been covering this like it's left and right, she's left, he's right. No, totally false. This is a contest between people who are succeeding under globalization and people who've been left out. And the rich, of course, have succeeded under it, and you know, and I've been helped by it. I'm not, you know what I mean, like pretending otherwise. And the poor, of course, are totally dependent on government, and Democrats want to raise the size of government. So I don't know. It's not about left-right ideology. It's about income and socioeconomic status.
So I watched Sean Hannity last night, and he basically had a monologue with everybody who's a never-Trumper because he's not conservative enough or he's too abrasive or the Billy Bush tape, whatever it is.
It was his closing argument.
His argument was, how dare you, you're responsible for this. Where do you think, what do you think happens if Donald Trump loses? Are those people going to be ostracized or looked at as heroes for standing up to Trump?
Look, there are just two questions. Does the Republican leadership in Washington have more popular support, or do Trump supporters have more popular support? I mean, it's like not even close, right? The program being pushed by the Republican leadership doesn't have a lot of popular support, A. B, the question is, do they learn anything? I mean, a disaster just happened in their party from their point of view. A candidate they hated took control of their party. Are they going to learn something from that? They've been very resistant to learning, totally resistant to learning.
But not Reince Priebus. I mean, Reince Priebus said, okay, whoever wins, wins. He's on board. But so who are you talking about?
You know exactly. I'm talking about the majority of Republican office holders. I'm talking about the majority of Republican donors. I'm talking about every Republican lobbyist. I'm talking about all the people who are voting for Hillary today who are Republicans. And there are an awful lot of them, but they're only in D.C. And I'm not attacking them. I'm merely saying if something unexpected happens, you should stop, assess why it happened, and think about how to prevent it from happening again.
There is a legitimate path for Donald Trump to win today.
Yes, there is.
What does he have to do?
Well, he's just got to... He's got to win the obvious states. I mean,
he's within the margin of error.
He is within the margin.
He has to win 3 of the 4. I've heard that he has to win 3 of these 4: Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and he has to flip a blue state.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. I mean, look, this is a tough and narrow path. Is it possible? Absolutely. I mean, you kind of revert to cliches now, but, you know, Brexit happened because we didn't understand, A, the power, the resonance of these issues, and B, we didn't know who was voting. And so, you know, that's the hope for Trump.
Sure.
We've underestimated all of it.
In addition to the Republican machine, which you were talking about, the establishment in Washington, D.C., one of the other things that this particular campaign has revealed, along with WikiLeaks, is how in the tank the media are for the Democrats.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a huge realignment there. I mean, news organizations, big, famous news organizations that have existed for generations, have totally devalued their credibility in the eyes of their viewers and readers. And I think you're going to see a huge shift to alternative media.
I'm getting the raps on. You know what that's like because you used to anchor this show?
Yeah, I've heard that. Be quiet, stop talking!
Right, but yeah, not Brian Tully. But real quick, Tucker, do you like Donald Trump's chances better than on this day than John McCain's and Mitt Romney's?
No matter what happens, Trump is going to do a whole lot better with groups you don't. I bet you $20 that Trump will do better with African-American voters than either Trump or Romney did.
He's already outperforming Romney in many demographics. All right. Thanks,
gentlemen.
Sir. Real pleasure. We'll be
watching. You are the best. Ainsley Earhart, my favorite. Sorry, guys.
I'm really happy for you.